Have you ever watched a movie that literally refuses to blink? We're diving into the one-shot film format for this explainer, and it is just a fascinating approach to storytelling. It completely strips away the safety net of traditional editing. Instead of manipulating time or space with a quick cut, the filmmaker forces both themselves and the audience into this shared, inescapable present.
But what does it actually mean to film for 90 minutes straight without making a single mistake? Just imagine the sheer terror and the exhilaration of filming a full feature without a single hidden cut. It's a challenge that forces us to question time, attention, and really, reality itself. When a camera never cuts away, it's basically making a philosophical statement. I will not look away, and neither can you.
Now, we have to make a crucial distinction right off the bat. While some films use really clever digital tricks to fake this continuous look, others are genuine, terrifying, high-wire acts of live performance. So, a simulated one take, think of movies like 1917 or Birdman, hides its cuts in the shadows or uses digital blends. But a true one-shot film, that means absolutely zero safety nets. If an actor forgets a line at minute 89, there's no fixing it in post. The whole production just has to restart from zero.
And this format, it didn't just emerge overnight. It's actually been evolving across an 80-year history. It started way back with Alfred Hitchcock using disguised 10-minute reels in his 1948 film Rope to build the psychological suspense. Then it progressed to Alexander Sakharov's Russian Ark in 2002, which amazingly squeezed 3 centuries into a single pass. Then we saw the digital stitching of Birdman in 2014. And now, it has reached the absolute unbroken reality of a modern Netflix drama called Adolescence.
That brings us to this remarkable modern milestone. Director Philip Barantini, who actually rehearsed this format in his earlier film Boiling Point, took the true one-shot to television to tell the really harrowing story of a 13-year-old murder suspect named Jamie. Adolescence is a 4-episode limited series, and here's the kicker. Every single episode, ranging from 51 to 65 minutes, is a genuine, unbroken take. No hidden cuts, just live, breathless performance.
So, how do they actually pull that off? Achieving this seamless look requires a staggering amount of hidden cinematic labor. It demanded 3 full weeks of intense preparation per episode just to make that final hour look effortless. Week 1 was dedicated entirely to actors building muscle memory. Week 2 brought in cameras for incredibly complex technical rehearsals to nail every lighting cue. And only in the 3rd week did they actually start filming, attempting the episode up to 10 times a day, just hoping one take would be absolutely flawless.
To really wrap our heads around the unbelievable scale of what they were attempting, let's just consider the number 300. That is the number of school children and chaperones who had to perfectly hit their marks in episode 2. It turns filmmaking into this heart-pounding act of collective trust. Because, in a conventional film, if one background extra messes up, you just cut and fix it. Here, if one person out of 300 steps half a beat out of line, the entire take collapses. To manage all this incredible pressure, the production team used this absolutely perfect swan metaphor. It captures the frantic reality hidden right beneath the smooth illusion of continuous time. We, the audience, just see the camera gliding gracefully across the water, completely unaware that underneath, the legs are flapping like mad just out of frame to keep the whole illusion alive.
Because the camera never stops, the series fundamentally shifts the whole crime genre. By confirming Jamie's guilt in the opening minutes, we move away from a standard whodunit and into a why-done-it. Without cuts, there are no easy flashbacks, right? There are no quick voiceovers to spoon-feed us information. Instead, we're literally forced to sit inside these uncomfortable, unedited domestic spaces in real time to inhabit the emotional reality.
And to pull this off aesthetically, the team had to make some highly specific choices. Rather than just tying the camera mechanically to an actor's shoulder, they decided to let it float during transitions. This creates an ethereal witnessing presence that accompanies the characters. It was a very deliberate, poetic choice to avoid that detached video game feel, and it turns the simple mechanical problem of moving from point A to point B into a profound act of observation.
Okay, let's zoom out from the technical spectacle for a second. We need to examine a really sharp academic critique by Tanya Horak that peels back the show's deeper ethical layers. Reading a piece of media critically means looking way beyond its self-proclaimed achievements and asking a more vital question. What exactly is this unbroken camera choosing to show us? Horak argues that despite ostensibly focusing on a teenager's radicalization, the series is fundamentally structured to generate distress among the adults watching. It creates what she calls an affective public, basically a shared space of parental anxiety.
She characterizes the politics of the show as a howl of despair, suggesting its real emotional center of gravity isn't the adolescent boy at all, but the horrified adults who are watching him.
There's this fascinating tension here between the creator's intent and the final product. The creators wanted parents to watch and think, wow, this could be my child, and they wanted to deliberately avoid stereotypes. But Horrocks points out that during critical, heavy moments, like a traumatic strip search, the supposedly unwavering camera discreetly turns away from Jamie. Instead, it just holds on the anguished face of his father for nearly a minute.
This creates a subtle but really profound substitution. By underhumanizing the actual victim, the murdered girl Katie, who honestly remains largely a blank slate, the show uses the frightened adult psychologist, Bryony, as a stand-in. So when Jamie becomes threatening, the camera focuses on Bryony. It redirects our empathy safely toward an adult proxy, rather than forcing us to actually reckon with the violence committed against the young girl.
Now, this academic debate bleeds directly into real-world discourse. Horrocks notes that the show's silence on race allows Jamie's whiteness to function as a universal symbol of ordinary boyhood. This stands in sharp contrast to false internet claims by figures like Elon Musk, who alleged the show race-swapped a real crime. And while creator Jack Thorne defended the series as a universal exploration of masculinity, Horrocks argues this assumption of ordinariness is a privilege that a minority character might not be afforded in the exact same narrative. Interestingly, this academic perspective actually mirrors how real-world professionals viewed the series. While some suggested screening the show in classrooms, the UK's School of Sexuality Education firmly rejected using the series as an educational tool for youth. Why? Well, precisely because of its heavily adult and masculine point of view. A show that was designed to provoke conversation between parents and children turned out to be structured in a way that speaks almost exclusively to the parents.
Ultimately, the big takeaway from this explainer is that a camera that never cuts isn't automatically objective. It is still making profoundly subjective choices about whose pain it prioritizes. The incredible technical achievement of a continuous shot doesn't just erase the fact that someone is deciding exactly where that lens points. Formal cinematic technique and ethical analysis are completely 100% inseparable.
So I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder the next time a stunning cinematic marvel asks you to simply watch and believe. A one-shot film might never blink, but we still have to ask ourselves, given that they chose not to cut, what did they still manage to look away from?